What's going on, everybody? Jason right here. What would you do if I guaranteed you'd be out of business in 2 years or less? Have I got your attention yet? Now, it's an interesting statement because some of you watching might be like, oh man, what if he's right? A lot of people do go out of business. Yeah, how's that going to work out for me? But some of you, a small portion of you, may be like, yeah, right. Like, I'm not worried about this guy at all. And I'll tell you, what I'm going to talk to you about today is how to get motivated as an entrepreneur and how to stay that way. And depending on what side of the fence you were on at the beginning of this video, what I'm going to talk about is going to speak to you in different ways, but I think you'll find it very interesting. So way back when, several years ago, I guess it's been about 4 years ago now, I quit my job in corporate America and set out to start my own business. Wanted to work online like many people do. And it was all exciting stuff, right? It was the honeymoon phase. It was all, sunshine and rainbows. Life was really good. And then what happened was things started to get tough. Started running out of money. Everybody was like, I told you so. It almost got to the point where I felt like people were rooting for my failure. You ever had that happen? Anyway, and what it does, it starts to screw up your motivation. You start to not only lose your motivation, you start feeling like garbage about yourself, right? That's my story. And I got to such a low point with that I had to basically beg family, like, can you help us buy food and keep the house? And was not in a good place mentally, but I started like watching motivational stuff on YouTube and like listening to motivational podcasts and things. What I found was motivation gives you the opportunity to make a change, but you have to do motivation plus action to make change happen, right? So motivation doesn't last, right? It feels good. It gives you this euphoric high, but unless you stay in that zone of influence, it doesn't stay with you. So what I'm talking about today is just a couple of tips that I think can help you stay motivated, get motivated and stay that way based on my own experience as an entrepreneur full time. Okay. So the first thing is, and some of this spills over into life, like this is a good advice for life, but this is one of the hardest things to um, embrace, especially if you like to be in control of everything, if you're a control freak, right? So first thing is control what you can control. Control what you can control. So if you're a person that is a control freak, this is going to be the hardest thing in the world for you, right? Let's talk about what you can control. Um, I'm in Indiana today. It's supposed to be winter, but it's like 63 degrees and sunny. I can't control that, but I'm happy about it. It's beautiful, right? We can't control the weather, right? Another one is we can't control what the market's going to do. So if you're running ads or you're doing something where things have worked in the past and they stop, you can't control what the market that buys your products and services is going to do, right? You can stack the odds in your favor. You can do some things to increase your chances of success, but you can't ultimately control it. All right. What else can you not control? Ooh, here's a big one. The timeline, right? When I quit corporate America that first time, my plan was it's going to take me 2 to 3 months to build my income from 0 to 80 grand and everything will be fine. Didn't work that way. Why? I don't know why. A lot of reasons, but I can't control that. I'm not God. I'm just Jason. Okay. So what you can control. So let's focus now on what you can control. Everybody watching this can control this, regardless of your circumstances or your environment. You can control your attitude, your effort, and your consistency, right? Those three things do give you the ability to change your life, right? Think about working out. If you work out consistently for 12 months and you eat properly and you stick with it, you're going to look different 12 months from now. I mean, I think we'd all agree on that, right? If you work on growing your YouTube channel, for example, for a year, it's going to be a little bit bigger and a little bit better than it was when you started, right? So consistency is huge. So something else you can't control that affects a lot of people, and maybe you can't control what people think, right? People are going to judge you based on everything you do and don't do. Like, people are always going to have opinions. So stop worrying about what other people think. It's literally a waste of your time. Okay. I know for some of you, that's going to be much easier said than done, but I promise you, if you can get to a point where you don't care, legitimately don't care what people think, it will set you free in a way that you can't even imagine. All right. Next point I want to talk to you about is keeping an eye on your influences, right? What are you watching every day? What are you listening to? And who are you associating with? Once upon a time, and a lot of people are this way, I used to watch the news and keep up with what's going on in my community, in my country, in the world. And then I just reached a point where I realized that so much of the stuff on the news, so much, like almost all of it is negative, right? Negative news gets a lot of attention. People feel better about what they're not doing or their life when they compare themselves to other. Man, it sucks to be that guy. It's really a very negative thing, and it seeps into all aspects of your life and business, and it's not good. So a few years ago, I just stopped watching the news. Like, people are like, "Yeah, did you hear about that thing?" I'm like, "No, I have no idea what you're talking about." Big news gets around everywhere anyway. So I know about the stuff that I need to know about, but a lot of stuff I don't, and I'm better off because of it. The other thing of that with the influences is, if you're an entrepreneur and you regularly ask non-entrepreneurs for advice about your business, it's probably not a good idea. Would you ask your dog walker advice about your heart condition? Doesn't make sense. Okay. You need to surround yourself with people that are like-minded and positive. And the beauty of the internet is you can find Facebook groups, you can find communities in a lot of different ways to do that. So, 20 or 30 years ago, we didn't have the internet. It was much more difficult, but that's not the case now. So, so far we've got control what you can control. You got watch your influences. And this is a big thing in business here. Number 3, and this is all I'll give for you in this video. I don't want to give you too much, but celebrating the little wins. All right. That's huge. That is so huge. Let me ask you this. What's harder, pushing a boulder, getting it started, or keeping it going? All right. If you think of the big boulder from the Indiana Jones movie, keeping it going, obviously, right? Celebrating the little wins is so important, because if we don't do that, what's going to happen is, if you're not winning, you're losing, right? There's either wins or losses. There's not like an in between. Like, even if you get second place, you still lost. So you young people that don't agree with that, that's how it really works. You either win or lose. It's very binary, very black and white. So if you're not celebrating the little wins, all you're doing is exposing yourself to losses. Does that make sense? Okay. It's super important, because nobody likes to get their teeth kicked in all day, every day. And that's what happens when you lose all the time. You feel like you're just getting beaten like you're just getting beaten like an Oriental rug on a windy day, right? It sucks. So sometimes a little win may not even equal money for your business. It's just forward progress. So you need to celebrate inwardly and outwardly your little wins, because little wins lead to big wins. And when you're winning, it's easier to keep the motivation. It's easier to keep the motivation because you have momentum, right? Momentum is a very, very powerful force in your life and in your business, for sure. Now, are you going to get your momentum derailed from time to time? Yes. Everybody does. Like, you can't avoid it. But when that happens, you'll remember how you got it going in the first place, and you can restart. Okay. So hopefully this is helpful. Motivation, mindset, and marketing is kind of the big 3 that I see within entrepreneurs. And these are the areas that get hung up in business, whether they're a brand new startup that can't figure it out, or whether they're making millions of dollars a year. People struggle with this stuff at all levels. It's not like once they reach a certain level of success, it's all, it's easy street. They just have different problems. But this one here, your brain, your thoughts, this is really the foundation of everything for you. So motivation coupled with action and celebrating little wins, is very, very important. Hope this has been helpful for you. If you like what we've got going on here, I'd love for you to subscribe to this channel. Check us out, intentionallyinspirational.com. We post about digital marketing, sales funnels, and a little bit of mindset and motivational stuff for you as well. I'm Jason Wright. Thanks for watching. See you soon.